Deputy James Carver, 2 minutes, take a floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we are today discussing human rights, I feel it most appropriate to highlight one of the more shameful episodes of recent British history. Nearly 40 years ago, back in 1966, an agreement was reached between my country and the United States relating to the Chagos Islands in the British Indian Ocean territory, granting America a military lease on the island of Diego Garcia. This led to the forcible removal of inhabitants from the archipelago. Many Chagossians were sent to Mauritius. Some came to the UK. They had no choice. None have been allowed to return. Their case has, as yet, been unsuccessful before the British courts, and the creation of a marine protection area in 2010 has further complicated matters, despite the Court of Arbitration ruling that this MPA breaches the rules of the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. I support the desire of Chagossians to return to their home, especially as definitive studies have underlined that they could re-establish an economically viable community away from the main island and military base of Diego Garcia. It seems that for once we can have our cake and eat it. Her Majesty's government quite rightly supports both Falkland Islanders and Gibraltarians in their right to self-determination and to remain British overseas territories, whilst at the very same time shamefully neglecting our duty of care to the Chagossian people. Mr. President, successive British governments, both Labour and Conservative, should hold their heads in shame. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carver, do you accept blue card from Mr. Tannock?
Honourable Member, I hate to embarrass you on this one, but I've been active on the issue of the return of the Chagossians for many years and pursued it in the previous Parliament. How would you react to the fact that the European Union and the European Commission were prepared to make funds available to settle the Chagossians back on their rightful territory, and indeed the arguments which the British government came up with were that it wasn't economically viable to do so, in spite of the fact that the EU was prepared to pay for it? So surely this is a case in which the EU's got it right for once and the British government's got it wrong.
Mr. Tannock, thank you very much. Well, of course, as someone who supports British membership of the European Union, someone who opposes British membership of the European Union, I believe in the sense of fair play. And of course, we don't have a level playing field in the European Union. And actually, I wish to embarrass the British government, because it's your government, and as I said, Labour government for it, who have been completely unfair with regards to this approach to the Chagossian people. I applaud your work on this, but we have to have the mindset at Westminster Parliament, not go cap in hand to the European Union or the European institutions to try and get some of our monies back. And I think that returns the sense of fair play and better value for money for the British people. Merry Christmas, Charles.